paint, prime, do all the things.
Good afternoon, and we will call the committee meeting of the Natchitoches Parish School Board to order. If we could start with a roll call.
Mr. Danzy?
Here.
Mr. Matoire? Here. Mr. Benefiel? Here. Mr. Harris? Mrs. McGaskey? Ms. Palmer? Ms. Phelps?
Here.
Ms. Harvey?
Here.
Mr. Fredu? Mr. Nicholson?
Here.
And Ms. Page. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have a quorum.
We do. Okay, you can see we're on our summer schedule here. We have some out traveling and some out with illnesses, but thank you for joining us, and we'll start off with our superintendent's report for any updates from Dr. Eloy.
Yes, ma'am. So, as you know, this past month I've been in and out of the office. We were at the teacher leader conference where we presented, and then we were also at the superintendent conference, which we also presented at. And then this month we'll be presenting at the LSBA Tri-Regional conference as well. But we do have some important updates for y'all. The RIF is complete, and a few things about that I think are important for the board to know. Overall, we did decrease our full-time equivalency employees by 7.5% district-wide. At the central office, we saw a 14% reduction, and 80% of that RIF was accomplished through means other than separating from people and letting them go. So that was through attrition, retirement incentive, etc. So all in all, I would say very successful endeavor in terms of the economics. Some difficult decisions, but overall, I believe a success. At the same time, if you recall, we had discussed that with a lower number of people, there will be some job combinations, and there will also need to be some discussions for people who are having additional duties added to their plate of proper compensation. We are having those conversations right now. In August, we will be bringing to you the complete, I think it's like probably a 200-page document with all of our job descriptions. We will be bringing that to you for an update. And that update probably would have occurred regardless of this, but there's more need for it now, obviously, with us combining positions and things of that nature. Mr. Wascom, myself, and HR today looked at those same folks impacted by taking on multiple duties and looking at compensation. We're going to be having those conversations with employees to make sure that people aren't overloaded without being fairly compensated, but also being aware of the fact that we are still trying to save dollars and cents. So that process is ongoing. School registration for current students started today. Registration previously was only open to new students, but school registration today, it took me literally like 3.5 minutes for my 3 children. I just updated it, so we asked parents to do that, and that'll be running all the way until school starts, but the sooner the better. Summer school is completely complete. I think that's redundant, but oh well. And it was successful, so good job to our team with that, and now everyone besides our 12-month employees at the district are definitely enjoying their summer. Last week, we tried to put together the first meeting of our safety committee after discussing those issues with Miss Barbara Page. That was not able to happen because of the various schedules of some of our key people who needed to be part of that. I think the DA was part of a national conference. I think the chief of police was at a similar conference, maybe the same one. So we are actively trying to get that going. But Ms. Kanika did everything she could, and people's schedules in the past 2 weeks just haven't lined up. So we're going to keep going at it. Today we had LEAP scores. We had individual LEAP scores released to us. We did not get summary data yet. Once we get summary data, that's still embargoed, but we have been told that July 3rd, which is Thursday, thank you, they will have the official press release of the scores, and we will be able to release that because it'll be public knowledge. what I can tell you is the state superintendent texted me today and congratulated us on growth. So that has to be good.
That's a positive.
So we are cautiously optimistic. Parents currently, probably as of tomorrow, will be able to check their student LEAP scores in J Campus as we work through that. There was some slight snafus with the actual data, and J Campus had to do some things, but hopefully by tomorrow they'll be able to actually access their student scores and see where they landed. But overall, things are looking very good in terms of accountability. So that concludes my report for this month. Any questions concerning any of that?
Yes, sir. The third graders, we had, 23, you said, entered summer school because of Dibbles?
Yes, and so
How'd we do based on your,
I know we had
Rough cut.
We had a reduction of the students who went into summer school. There was a reduction from that group, but I can have that for you for Thursday of how many actually were impacted by that. It's actually a good piece of discussion. What we're looking to do, if y'all recall, we always bring to y'all pupil progression. That should be around August that we'll be bringing pupil progression. And one of the things we're looking at, because I think we all agree that, well, I shouldn't say we all agree. Third grade retention is difficult on a social level. You remember third grade, and it's a tough haul. One of the things in the policy is if a student has already been retained in a previous grade, they don't get retained in third grade per this new state policy. So what we're looking to do is we're looking to have an internal policy on our pupil progression where we would apply the same thought that the state law has, but apply it at first grade, which is much less disruptive to a student. And so if they're not on reading level by first grade, we would retain them. And then you might say, well, would they get retained again in third grade? No, because when they get to third grade, they'd be hopefully state law allows them to progress, but hopefully also by that point we would have also intervened multiple times.
so early on intervention would help us there.
Talking the completion of first grade, right?
That's right.
Yeah, and the other thing is, we've talked to Miss Penrod about some of the things we're going to be doing differently. Number one, I think our literacy plan is going to be a lot more robust this year anyways, and that's really just because Miss Penrod will have a full year and to do some things. Plus, some of the things we're doing at LP Vaughn I think are going to be very impactful. But the other part of it is we learned, this was a learning year on that. And so some of the stuff we're going to do in terms of 504 plans, IEP plans, and stuff like that will mean that we will have less students impacted by this. So if 23 went into summer school this year, I can't imagine more than 23 going in next year. I think that number's going to continue to fall. So.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay. All right, so item number 3, announcement of public meeting, Lee Wascom.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Here's an announcement that I have to read into the record. I can do it both weeks if you'd like.
Okay.
And it is announcement of public meeting. Notice is hereby given that at its meeting to be held on Tuesday, August 12, 2025 at 5 p.m. at its regular meeting place, the Natchitoches Parish School Board office, boardroom, 310 Royal Street, Natchitoches, Louisiana. The Parish School Board of the Parish of Natchitoches, State of Louisiana, plans to consider adopting a resolution ordering and calling an election to be held in the Consolidated School District 11 of the Parish of Natchitoches of the State of Louisiana to authorize the issuance of general obligation bonds. And to let the public know, that's the Provençal district, the Provençal School District.
Provençal in Clucheville.
Well, it's the Clucheville area, but it's now in one big district, right?
Okay.
Okay.
Any questions for Mr. Wascom? Moving into the informational reports and item 5A, balance sheet, Mr. Lee Wascom.
Once a year, at least, by request of the auditor, I've been asked to give you guys a balance sheet. So here's a list of all of our accounts and the assets here. So here it shows $29,454,000 worth of assets. It shows, so it says cash master bank, that's an exchange bank. Cash payroll account, that's also exchange bank, as well as the next two. The salary, this is the amount of money that was in savings for the salary checks, which are about to go out. And then this is the amount of money here, which was just in standard savings, okay? The $4 million. The Osaic, I guess, Osaic investment, and also Edward Jones investment here. Argent is another savings account that we have. So all these are pretty much cash assets. A little longer term asset is the Edward Jones, that is more long term, but all these are due to and due from some of the other internal accounts. And so here are your this right here is, for instance, the reserves. The $10,521,000 in reserves here. So, well, actually, I'm sorry, it's the $11 million down here is the amount in reserves. So that's pretty much it. That's a requirement that I present to y'all once a year. It just kind of gives you a feel for where the assets are sitting as of the end of May. Okay.
What can we use the savings account monies for specifically?
Are you talking about the interest earned on that, or is this is money that's being held? That's an over, like for instance, when the operating account, the same account builds way up, I move it to savings so we can earn interest off of it.
Okay.
And I just kind of move it into savings so it can earn interest. I've negotiated a deal with Exchange Bank to where we are earning
I thought it was 4.5.
almost 4.5, about 4.5% interest per month off that account, which is has greatly improved because it was just sitting in the operating account. So what I do is I just move enough in the checking account to pay the bills,
Okay.
and then I pretty much keep the rest in the savings account. And that's that one called Exchange Bank and Trust Savings there. Another where we have a pocket of money is under Argent Trust Savings. That's all pretty much cash. That's money market accounts right there. It's actually earning 4.25 or something like that in that area. It's actually really good right now to keep money in the cash and keep it liquid like this. Earning more than bonds. So it is actually a requirement by law, Ms. McGaskey, that I have to put money into an account that will earn savings. I can't just keep it sitting there earning no interest. I have to actually keep it earning there. So, any other questions regarding the balance sheet? Okay. If y'all are okay, I'll go on to the next one, which is the budget. I've changed this up again, made it further explanations. What I've done is, in the past, you used to just get one number, like $48 million, $48,583,000 for general fund. What I decided to do was break it into local revenues, state revenues, and federal revenues, so that you guys could get a further breakdown of how the money is going. So local revenues, for instance, the column here that it says year-to-date actual 2024 versus year-to-date actual 2025 is that's sales tax collections and property tax collections. State revenue is the MFP for the most part. And then you got...
Mr. Wasson, can I comment on that real quick?
What's
I
that?
wanted to tell y'all concerning MFP. It was minor, but for the first time in 5 years, we get sent a report from the state, Thomas Lambert, through accountability, and it shows us our beginning of the year number of students, our October 1 count. I'm sorry, yeah, beginning of year October 1 count, February 1 count, and end of year how we ended. For the first time in the 5 years, we went up each time. Every other time, we have had to pay back money or we've reduced in some way. Now, the hope is that continues into the next school year, and we actually have, for one of the first times in 20 years, even if it's one kid, an increase,
Have an increase.
in student count. And we do owe a large part of that to Miss Felicia and her team finding students and all their activities. So I just wanted to say that because I told Lee, I said, we're not going to budget for an increase in MFP, but personally, I do think we might see a small increase next year.
That's incredible news.
Yeah, we're taking students from somewhere. They're not. They're not moving in.
Yeah.
That's correct. Okay. So something to note here, for instance, do you see salaries on the first line there, salaries and benefits? You'll notice that salaries are being reduced. There's a reduction there of $1 million from May to May. That's May comparison to May comparison, okay? That tells you that the actions being taken not only by this board but also by the we are being more efficient with our salary.
And that was prior to any sort of RIF or anything of that nature.
Correct. So you can see some of the main difference in the expenses is right here under supplies and purchases, and a lot of this has to do with things with construction that was going on last year versus this year. As the construction wanes down, some of this stuff is coming down. So anyhow, I'm very happy with everything at this point in time. Child nutrition, I broke this apart. This is a little strange anomaly right here. Local revenues, I think these were flip-flopped. I think that it was miscoded a year ago, but this year it's been coded correctly. And I think we're in good shape. Actually, no, the budget, this is the budget area. I think the budget is wrong. I think it needs to be flipped. But anyhow, overall, revenues are up. And you will see, this is one of the reasons why I wanted to break this out for y'all. You see where it says federal revenues? Last year it was $3,072,000. This year it's $3,351,000. This means that this is USDA money. This isn't like general funds contributing more than last year. This means that our fund collections from the USDA regarding food service is higher. You have to speak to Shauna as to exactly why that is, but anyhow.
Was that because the Niagara Central came on with free lunch too?
It could be. I don't really know the breakdown. I'm just happy when it arrives.
Okay.
I haven't really broken it down to that, drilled down into that much. But I will say, last year we were 150,000 ahead, and this year we're 559,000 ahead of revenues are ahead of expenses. So this, after discussion with you guys last time, we've always presented Title I, but you'll see where it says IDEA. I think I got rid of the ESSER 3 formula, which is irrelevant now because it's pretty much closed down. So what I put here was the IDEA. This is SPED. And it gives you an idea of where our spending is versus last year.
So this, a depressing segue. Today I sent Miss Rachel an Ed Week article that came out today, and I'll be sending it to y'all. There's about 6.8 billion with a B, that President Trump is proposing to remove from the education budget for states this year, specifically Title I Part C, which deals with our migrant students, which if y'all have been following Miss Rachel's work, we've actually been getting more of that money because we've had more of those students and we've actually had to expand in that area. So we're waiting to hear if this is actually going to happen because there has not been congressional work done on this yet. This is really an email sent from, I think, the executive branch to it's very informal at this point. Also, Title One or Title One Part C, Title II, which is a pot of money that's very important to us, and then also Title IV, which probably not as important as Title II, but still we do a lot of work with it. And so I will keep you updated on that, and I'll send you that article. But me and Ms. Rachel both kind of were like, oh, happy Monday, or happy Tuesday, rather. So, but I'll be sending that to you, and hopefully it's one of those things that maybe it gets massaged a little bit, but you do need to be aware that it's not the greatest of news coming down the pipeline.
Okay, normally I present a sales tax report. That will be formally presented next week. I only prepared it this morning because today, this is the first. I will let y'all know the report it's a tad up, like $5,000 over the same month last year. It is up, and that's the thing we need to cheer. Overall for the year, it's up 4.47%, which I'm very proud of considering the strain of the economy. I think that's really good. But I will give y'all a formal report next week, okay?
Thank you. Okay, item 5C would be the personnel report. I think all of you have it on your board docs, and if you have any questions, you can direct those to Dr. Eloy, unless you have anything to share.
No, there is a different piece on there. The reduction in force was put on there specifically, so that would be delineated from any other section. So y'all would be aware of that. But other than that, it's the same as always been. And obviously, this is a very busy month, as you can tell.
Exactly. Okay, item 5D, maintenance report, Mr. Ryan Shirley.
May I ask a question before we
Yes,
move on?
ma'am.
I saw on the roof, there were 3 janitors that were caught up in the rift. And I heard you mention about some of the jobs, but some people will acquire additional duties.
Mm-hmm.
I was just kind of concerned because I saw 3.
Yes, ma'am.
were
That was
no
more.
longer-
Yeah, that was more about us having 2 less campuses. We staff our custodial staff based on square footage, and we lost. Mr. Shirley, do you know how much square footage?
About 140,000, I think.
Yeah. So all that did was correspond to the amount of square footage we lost in our staffing formula in terms of custodial staff. So there is no building that is now having more work put on them in terms of custodial work. It's just simply a matter of the 2 less buildings.
I also saw we had a couple school secretaries. How did we just move some people around?
Yes, we moved. I believe everyone in that respect, where they ended up landing, it was a good situation. So, and as y'all are aware, that all that went based purely. Our principals did evaluations of school-based staff on the same evaluation metric. They sent them up to us, and all we did was sort those based on highest to lowest.
Mr. Shirley?
Good afternoon. If you haven't heard, we've been moving a lot.
I've
We are,
heard nothing but bragging on you and your team.
we've
Everywhere I've
done a lot. We're actually at the point now to where we're just tidying up. All the major things have been moved. Ms. Hicks' kitchen equipment from each location has been pulled out, brought back to the warehouse. So we don't have another Clutcheville incident. So we've made some progress in other areas as well. We've moved some things around here today, but I'd say 98% of the move is complete. Now we're just going back and filling in and moving some different things from some areas. But not only that, we have maintained our work orders, and we've had a lot of our fire inspections done. July's the month we have all those done, so to make sure we're good for the next year. So we've been extremely busy.
Good.
Air conditioner failures, any jump that?
Yes, sir. We have had a few. We've been on top of it pretty good. We've had more chiller issues than I'd say actual air conditioners, like controllers on the outside going out. We had a compressor go out on one that we had to repair. Just today, we had at the actual virtual academy, the little building over by Magnet, we actually had to replace 2 motors today. There hadn't been anybody in there, so we're trying to get that ready for this next coming year, and we had 2 burnt AC motors, so we replaced those today. So
Mr. Shirley, is it appropriate for us to discuss what we're moving from LP Vaughn to NJH at this point?
what you talking about, Willis?
The store?
Oh, yes, actually, we will. That's a good thing. I actually got to get with Mike on that this week. We're actually taking store's main office is housed in LP Vaughn, and it's just a little bitty storage closet. So we're actually going to take them from LP Vaughn, move them to NJH, let them take up the front office area, and move all their equipment and their plans and everything in there. Couple of reasons. Number one, it's going to be a bigger space for them to be able to work. Number two, they can keep an eye on the building and make sure the temperature is regulated in that building so we don't have any issues with it. And number three, them being back and forth in and out of that building may deter some of the break-ins because they will be there.
And the office portion is a little more structurally
Yeah, it's
sound than the rest of it.
Yes,
This was, I think Miss Rosemary Washington expressed great concern, which I would echo, about us maintaining a presence at that building. And when Mr. Shirley came to me with this, I was like, this would be amazing. So we will have someone in that building at least, 5 days?
5 days a week.
Just like we have
5
now.
days a week,
Obviously,
just like we have now.
a smaller number of people, but still a presence.
Yeah, but they will be in and out. Plus, like when they do our PMs and stuff, they'll send 8 to 10 trucks sometimes, and all of the equipment that they need, we don't have anywhere to house that. So they clog up different areas. Now they have a place where they can bring all their equipment when those people come down. They can house it there. When they need extra this, extra that, they can come get it, and it'd just be a lot easier on us.
So Ryan, are they providing us with a certificate of insurance?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
So after I think that you were indicating there's going to be people in and out because of the moving. And so when that ends, there still was a safety factor that Ms. Washington had mentioned, an ongoing safety factor for security.
Yes, ma'am. So they'll. Prior to that, we were saying, "Oh, we'll have all the doors locked. We'll have the cameras," which we will still have. But now, just having an active presence of the fact that someone will always be there Monday through Friday, or I think is going to really benefit in terms of deterring people from. We talk about the MLK Head Start, which is not ours, but we know what's happened over there because there's not been anyone in. So we feel very much that just the fact that we have people inside is going to be a major, major deterrent.
Right.
But the only building that's going to be used after all the moving is officially closed down that we've had discussion about is the gymnasium.
Correct. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Any other questions for Mr. Shirley?
I wanted to ask, I wasn't at the meeting last month, but I know there's been a lot of concern with the lawn care.
Yeah, well, we've had us a good come to Jesus meeting about 2 weeks ago after I heard. I wasn't at the meeting either whenever it was brought up. So I went through. His concern was, and it's a valid concern, he gets told to do different things at different times. We have had principals tell him not to do things, and then it prolonged 2 weeks, and then he gets behind. We also have had all the afternoon rains and the different things, and he's trying to be respectful of our property because a lot of it does hold water. And if he gets out there, he's going to tear it up. But I have informed him that he has a contract to fulfill. He has to mow it so many times. If y'all haven't seen him here lately, he has been at every school just about every week, at least once a week.
And I apologize, Mr. Nicholson. I was supposed to report on that after talking to Mr. Fredu. Not only that, but me and Ryan discussed one of the other things that I think will be helpful in this is we have asked, or I've talked to Ryan, and Ryan's working with them to do a detailed invoice that will actually say, like on this date, if there's 4 times in a month, July 1, this time, that really breaks it down.
Yes, him and his secretary, I would like to say when I met with them the other day, they're actually trying to break it down to say, okay, June 30th, we were here, 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 and here.
I think that would be fantastic. And
Right.
even when we have a monthly report, like if that was.
I'll include that, I'll include that next month.
And the
LP Vaughn was cut these 3 days this month, and the reason it wasn't cut forward was because of rain, which is okay.
And the
Right.
other thing we discussed is a principal can tell Mr. Payne or his crew, hey, I don't want you cutting now. They can say that, but the ultimate person who he will know if he can or can't, he has to then call Ryan, and Ryan has to coordinate and say, okay, well, here's the deal. If we do this,
Well, at least we have that documented as
Yeah.
well, right?
yeah.
Right. And see, in one case, just for instance, at one location, I went to that location and the only thing was cut was the front. So I was like, hey, why we didn't get it all while we were there? Well, the principal asked us not to. They wanted this done for aesthetics, and we could come back on the weekend and finish that. So guess what? If somebody goes by, they see it half cut, they're thinking he's only doing half the job. His team was doing what they were asked to do at the time, and that wasn't reported. But, you know, I mean, when you see something, they're going to say something. So, and I don't blame them. So, it is
Overall,
what
I
it is.
feel after talking to Ryan multiple times about this, I feel like we have a much better on both sides.
Yes, we do.
Understanding of the expectations and
And just to give you a heads up, we have a tree out at Fairview that fell across the fence. We are going to get that cleaned up. It's just soggy around there right now. So as soon as it gets a little bit, they're going to go out and cut it and take care of it. So,
Cool, thank you.
all right.
That shouldn't be that big a deal to put a data service whenever
Yeah.
they're in an area. I mean,
Yeah, I think it's going to be our best bet, and it benefit us both.
Thank you, Ryan.
Thank you.
Transportation report, Mr. Baptiste.
Good evening.
Good evening.
As far as what we have going on for the month of June and proceeding into July, we successfully completed our summer school transportation without incident. I'd like to thank the superintendent and his staff for the information exchange that we have. It was that we had the timeliness of it was very helpful in helping us to plan and be successful. So thank you. We're currently in a comprehensive retraining. We're doing that for 100% of our drivers and our monitors. It's going to be centered on safety. As it says, we're looking at defensive driving, emergency preparedness, and we're going over student conduct protocols. We're currently, as stated in previous sessions, that we are currently still hiring for drivers. We're also hiring for mechanics, and we're hiring for a dispatch role. I'd like to report that we have an offer currently for a mechanic that I'm pretty happy with, and we've got finalists selected for our dispatch role. For recruiting efforts, we have a sign-on bonus of $3,000 that we announced for new drivers. We're also extending that $3,000 to drivers as a referral bonus. The only obstacles that we've seen thus far is we've seen competition from the detention center as they are hiring for bus operators for their prison transport, and they're hiring at a higher rate than we are, so we are seeing a little bit of pushback from there. Again, we're planning for the fall. We're looking at all of our routes. One of the things that we're doing, we're scheduling drivers from all of the areas to come in and help us as we look at the routes for next year, so they're the closest to the work, so that they can help us as we move forward. Any questions?
So this will be your first fall
First of all,
with
here.
us. Are you excited about it?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Okay.
I hope
never
that,
excited about the
hope
fall.
it's easier
nothing to do
than
with
my
Mr.
first-
Baptiste.
Pardon me?
I said I'm never excited about the fall. Nothing to do with you though.
Now, I think we've got some good stuff planned, so I'm excited for what we've got.
Good. Thank
Any
you for
other
the
questions?
report. Any questions? No.
Thank
Thank
you.
you again. Mr. Benefield, would you be interested in the finance facility service and insurance report in Ms. Palmer's absence?
not a problem, ma'am. Are we ready?
We are ready.
Good deal. Item 6A, award paper and cleaning products bid for the 25-26 school year. If you'll see, there's a letter directed to the superintendent from Ms. Hicks awarding the paper and cleaning products to Economical. The other two bids seem to come in incomplete. And Ms. Hicks is not here, so we can talk to her next week, but
Yes, sir.
it does not seem to be any complication there.
Really no choice but that one.
Any questions or any concerns in that area? Item 6B, award, the food award for 25-26. Again, Ms. Hicks has dedicated a letter to superintendent awarding it to Lamb Food Service for $757,774. Any discussion on that item? Again, Ms. Hicks can fill us in on the details next week. Item 6C, extend the milk contract for 25-26. And Ms. Hicks has directed a letter toward Superintendent Eloy asking to extend the 22-23 contract with Highland Dairy rather than going back for bid with the milk for the parish. Said it was a second of 3 possible extensions. And is it Highland or Hillen?
Say Highland.
Highland.
Has continued to provide a good product and excellent service, which is very important to all of us. She recommends that we extend it for the 25-26 school year. Any questions on that item? Mr. Patois, are you concerned about the milk over there? Are you just, okay, I'm sorry.
You can just buy them a few.
He saw motion.
The milk them every morning. Yeah, that'd be all right. That'd be cheaper. We wouldn't have to worry about mowing grass. We'd have that to keep the grass.
There we go. Item D, she has asked, Mr. Cozad has asked permission to advertise for bids for the E-rate Category 1 for the services for our internet. Mr. Cozad, do you have any comments for that? There doesn't seem to be anything attached that we can sink our teeth into.
Our E-rate consultants haven't completed the RFP yet. They're still working on it. They asked that we go ahead and get this approved to go out for bid this month because they want to be ahead of the schedule. And as these E-rate funding deadlines come, it gets really busy for them. So they went ahead and asked me to put it on the agenda for this.
How long will it be out for bid? What's the time length?
I believe it's 30 days also. But when I get that RFP back, it's all very tight with the E-rate program. This is why we have consultants on it. There's a very specific way it has to go about it. But as soon as I get a copy of that RFP, I can send it to you guys. And if it comes in before next week, I'll attach it to the agenda.
Thank you, Mr. Cozad. Any questions for Mr. Mike? Item 6E, discuss and consider approving early childhood network access. Ms. Rashall, is there anything that we need to consider? I see you have the contract pulled together.
Yes, I'm bringing forward a resolution tonight that will allow us to launch this initiative as early as next week. We're hoping to be able to provide an additional 70 fully paid tuition scholarships to families enrolling in child cares within our network. And so this is the first step in that process of the Rapides Foundation releasing those funds to our district.
Okay. And the grant agreement is behind it that you attached.
Yes, sir. Over 3 years, $3.1 million.
Wow.
Awesome.
Board members, any discussion with Ms. Rashall? Love the Rapides Foundation.
Absolutely. Thank you for your.
Well, and they really actually target the good things.
They do.
Education and health for all our surrounding parishes, so that's great.
Yes. Thank you.
Madam President, that concludes the report.
Thank you, Mr. Benefield. We'll move on to the executive report, item 8A, Mr. Rustanzi.
8A, discuss and consider alternative program handbook for 2025, 2026.
Yes, so that was Miss Pinkney, and she had a sick child today, so she asked if she could.
Do that Thursday?
Yeah, and it's nothing provocative or anything. It's just annual changes.
Item number 8B, discuss and consider reducing the size of the Natchitoches Parish School Board membership. Ms. Phelps?
Thank you, Mr. Dancy. This item 8B is an extremely important item that I would really like for more board members to be here, have a full house to discuss this. So I'm asking that we table this until August and we have a higher attendance with board members.
And that concludes executive report.
Okay. Well, before we close the meeting, are there any questions about anything that was presented so far? We weren't able, Mr. Benefield, did you have something?
No, ma'am, not on the information presented.
Okay. So one item that was not on here that should be next month, Chad Fredu and I did attend a town hall meeting in Goldana and received a lot of good information from the Goldana residents that Chad will present next month during the committee meeting. And anything else?
We may have an executive session next week.
Okay.
The only thing, Ms. Phelps, thank you for giving us the opportunity, is when you see teachers and you see staff and you see people in town and at Walmart and different functions downtown, they all have the same thing to say, is what a rewarding year it was, how good it was, and that we continue just to get better. So it's, 5 or 6 years ago, we didn't really hear that.
You're exactly right. And I do, building off of that, I do want to compliment the district, the central office, on the amazing retirement party they had for employees yesterday. It was very moving. It was very, I hate to use the word sweet, but it was almost like a little church service. It was perfect. And they paid homage to every single person there. And it was just perfect. And I would like to formally thank all of those people for their service as well to our district. Over 246 years service from everybody that retired yesterday. So we appreciate your service. So this meeting.
Well, wait, remind everybody about the Back to School Expo.
Oh, yeah, July the
21st.
21st. So
At Prather Coliseum.
Yeah, so make your way there, wear your I Love NPSB shirt if you want to. We could all be matchy-matchy. But yes, I think that's the only other event in July.
Yes,
Right.
Well, y'all will be going, several of y'all will be going to the Tri-Regional.
Yes.
Tri-State. I keep saying Tri-Regional. It's Tri-State.
Tri-State at the end of the month. Right, to disclose immediate family members. Okay. Okay, board members, thank you very much, and I hope y'all have a great week.
Short and sweet.
Because I care about it. It's like, we get to go home.
I know. Y'all would beat me if we.